Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Murf.
We're not live.
Hell no, we're not.
What's up, Raider Nation?
Hey, what's going on?
We're not live, chat room, but welcome in everybody that's jumping into the chat room there.
Yes.
You know we appreciate you guys. You know we love you guys.
Well, yeah.
The Graves is probably in there.
Yep. Ron.
Hold it down. Ron the Materator.
Paul. I don't know. What's Paul do on a... Is it Saturday morning
1
yet?
a.m. on a Saturday morning?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm
sure he's having a good time.
Well, yeah, he is.
Kill Jadis, Kevin the Raider Nerd, anybody else that's joining in there, we appreciate you guys very, very much. You know, we love you. Yeah, so this is the rundown.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and kick into the rundown for June 23rd. What is up, Raider Nation? Your buddy Murf back once again for a little show we call the Raiders Fan Radio Rundown. That's right. This is where we kind of go over some of the bigger or smaller of the news stories of the Raiders week.
It's all big when it's Raider shit.
Well, hey, let's go.
You know?
Let's go. And here we are in the office of the off season, Jeff. And but we got a little bit of a show to come at you.
Of course.
Yeah, because like Jeff said, there's always something to talk about. So before we get into all that stuff, without further ado, let me turn it over to the man that adorns the western annex of the Murf's dining room table. He is Swag Jeff.
It's styling and profiling.
What's up, Swaggo?
What's up, man? Oh my gosh.
I didn't have applause for you there.
Well, what the hell are you doing? Oh, there they are. I like
try
it.
that again.
It's
That's
styling and profiling.
Hey.
What up, bro?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Just hanging out in the dining room, just chilling with my best bro, talking Raider football. This is what we do, man.
This is what we do.
Man. So, yeah. So, I mean, it is the offiest of the off season, but there's always something to talk about because sometimes Raider Nation will just make up shit to talk about.
Yeah.
And cool and what'd you say, as show producers, because we are not content creators.
Thank you.
You know, we are show producers. So that's music to our ears, right? Because we got plenty to talk about.
But
there is some stuff to talk about, and we're gonna break it down today.
Absolutely. And we thought we'd just we'll just jump on and we'll talk for like 30 minutes or whatever, just go over a few news stories. And then all of a sudden we got an email, we got some voicemails, we've got these stories, we had these sound bites, we had all this stuff that started adding up, and we're like, all right, we're going to save some of that for the next live show. And we're going to get to all that. But before we jump into some of that stuff, we got some housekeeping to take care of.
Yes.
The next live show probably won't be next week. We really wanted to get a live in before the end of the month, and maybe there's an opportunity for us to squeak it in. We might just have to be here in the dining room or something.
Sure.
We'll have to see about Wednesday. Just stay tuned, and we'll let you guys know on that one because we really want to keep our fundraising in order. Our goal is to raise $15,000 for the Bolitnikoffs this year. We've already given $2,000 to the Raider Dad folks, and we've got about $6,000 in the hopper right now.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Don't stick your nose up at that. That's fantastic.
No nose stuck at all.
Yep.
We're
great.
Incredibly thankful. So that's $8,000 we've raised already this year, but we've got 9 more to go, and 9 more to go before November likely. We got to be locked in, so we can't do that without your support, Raider Nation, without the live shows and the raffles and all that. But in the meantime, if you're so inclined and you just want to give to the One Nation Foundation, you can donate at onenationfoundation.net. 100% of that money goes to the One Nation Foundation, and we give that to Raiders-related charities like the Bolitnikoff. So please, if you've got it in your heart and your means to be able to do that, we would be honored to be the the beneficiaries.
Beneficiary.
Thank you of that donation and your kindness. And if you want to get in early on the next live giveaway, then we would be happy to register you with some poker chips to win an autographed jersey, like our good friend Animal Mother won this last week.
Yeah.
When he won the autographed Rich Gannon jersey. And so, what's our next one? We got Max.
We don't have another Max, but. So we're shopping, you know, the One Nation Foundation, you know, it's Swag Jeff's on the board.
Okay,
So Swag be shopping.
You shopping?
Yeah, I'm shopping. So I'm looking for the big ticket item for this year, and I'm kind of thinking, you know, those of you that are tuning into the rundown, it might be Bo. We might have to go Bo this year. We've never done that.
Never done a Bo.
We've never done a Bo, but right now in the hopper for sure, we've got Tim Brown.
Got Timmy Brown. That's
we got
right.
Timmy Brown, and we've got another Devontae.
We
got another Tay,
Devontae,
man.
was that a record night for us when we did Devontae?
When we did Devontae
was
last year,
huge.
we did a Devontae this year, and it was like $750 or something like that. Last year, like around Fanny time, we did a Devontae, and it was like $1,500 or something like that.
Was it like 18? I even think it was
maybe
18.
so. Yeah,
it was
way up there. So yeah, but I want to tag what you just said right there.
Please.
because yes, our goal this year for the Bolitnikovs is 15, and we gave 10 last year. But the fundraising efforts right now in June, if we've already raised 8, last year we were kind of worried, kind of sweating, like, are we going to get to 10? Like, we're already almost there. And, you know, Animal Mother's helping us out. He's raising a ton of money with his 10 or marathon.
Just Run, baby.
There you go. Just Run, baby. So he's got that going on. So he's going to make a massive donation. And we've got all this summer of swag left and the first portion of the regular season, dude. Like, we right on track, bro. Let's keep it going. Salute, much respect, Raider Nation, because you guys are making this happen, and you're getting the word out to some of these other sponsors. Like we're going to be talking to our friends at Caesars today, so we're going to be talking about that a little bit. So I mean, dude, like we're right on cue. Man.
Okay, right.
You know?
I'm always the nervous guy.
Well, but
I'm always
tough.
the guy that's like, oh, I don't know.
Well, and it's tough because we're in limbo right now, you know, with the fan
That's
cave
the
kind of
hard
not
part.
being the fan cave
Yeah.
and us having to borrow spaces and do things or whatever. It kind of makes it tough, but like, you know, but when we're locking in, no matter where it is, whether it's on the porch, whether it's here, whether it's at Domenico's, or you know, we're going to be at the red phone booth here soon in downtown Nashville, like. We're still locking in and getting stuff going.
Okay.
So yeah. So
well, let's probably plan on doing something here Wednesday night. Let's just go ahead and do that. Yeah, because that way we can because this will be our last opportunity to get one in for June.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and plan that. So Raider Nation, join us at the normal time Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern.
Yep.
We'll be here in the damn dining room, but we're gonna make the best of it. And
that's it.
And we'll give one of those fantastic, probably Timmy Brown. Yeah.
Let's do Timmy
Brown.
We've never done a Timmy either.
All right, there you go. We're going to give away an autographed Tim Brown jersey. So there we go.
Yep, absolutely.
So appreciate you guys very much. All right, so speaking of Raider Dad, which is the first charity that the One Nation Foundation supported this year. So your amazing hard-earned money that is so generously given to the One Nation Foundation, $2,000 of that went to the Raider Dad folks. That's our buddy Josh Camonite. Went out to Raider Dad, and they are taking a group of kids and their families to the Raiders preseason game against the Niners. Jeff and I will be there with Cousin Sonny and with Uncle Mosh. We're going to have a blast. If you're going to that game, let us know. And there is a Facebook group called Raiders Fan Radio Meetups.
Yes.
You can join that Facebook group, and you can post on there where you're going to be, who's going to be there. We've already heard from like Jay Jackson, Arizona Raider Nation.
Yep.
He's going to be here, be there. And so a lot of our good friends we know are coming out. We're going to be in Lot H. That's where the Raider Dad tailgate happens, is in Lot H. So come out and support. Also proud to say we're like the premier sponsor of the event.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of big sponsors that are part of this thing.
100%.
Woodson Whiskey, Texas Roadhouse. there's some big names
Who's the tequila?
There was, Patron's on there.
Patron's on there.
Patron's on there. And your money help the One Nation Foundation become the premier sponsor. This is you guys. This isn't us. We're just the vessels and the knuckleheads with the microphones.
That's it.
So thank you to you guys so incredibly much for helping us help the Raider Dad folks.
Yeah.
And so look for us out there in Lot H coming up here. This is 2 months away. It's like August 13th.
August 13th, yeah.
Yeah, so less than 2 months away.
Less than 2 months.
Less than 2 months away. All right, so good stuff there. All right, Swag Jeff, let's go ahead. Unless you got more housekeeping, go ahead and hit a break, do your Caesars read, and then let's jump into some Raider talk.
Hey Raider Nation, this is Max Crosby from the Oakland Raiders.
And goes down, and Max Crosby, who forced a fumble last week.
You're listening to Murf, Mosh, and Swag Jeff on Raiders Fan Radio. Thank you so much. Just win, baby.
Hey, Murf.
Hey, Swag Jeff.
Hey, Raider Nation.
Hey.
So we're coming to you on behalf of Caesars. So Caesars got an offer. Caesars has an offer for us. So if you are not signed up with Caesars, you need to tune in and check in and listen. So right now we have a Caesars opportunity that you don't want to miss. New customers, if you first sign up using our promo code. Our promo code is RFR Full. And when you do that, you sign up, you get your first bet up to $1,250 fully insured on Caesars' behalf. So if you haven't done that, get in the mix. RFR Full is the promo code. Not only will you have your first bet up to $1,250, fully insured on the house, all that good stuff, but you're also going to be, again, talking about the One Nation Foundation, you're going to be supporting that. All that goes to the One Nation Foundation as well. So if you haven't signed up, get in the mix. Caesar Sportsbook, promo code RFR Full. Get in the mix. Much appreciated.
Absolutely. Check your state. Make sure that you're okay in your state.
Yes, for sure.
And we do. We thank the good folks at Caesars because all the advertising dollars that we get from Caesars go straight to the foundation.
That's it.
Patrick Claybon with NFL Network here. Hey folks, I know 3 things you might like. Do you like football? Do you like the Las Vegas Raiders? Do you like listening to things? I'll add a 4th. Do you like swag?
Hell yeah.
Well, here we got Swag Jeff, Murf, Uncle Mosh. This is Raiders Fan Radio.
Hey, Jeff, you know what time it is?
What time is it?
Time to talk about the Raiders.
Oh, do we have to?
This season in 2023, there will be 10 running backs making $10 million or more in cash. Now, whether Joe Mixon continues to make that, we don't know. But he's one of the 10. And then you go back to the 21 season, there were 3. There was Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, and Derrick Henry. And then in 22, there was Henry, and there was Zeke and Kamara. That was it. So we have tripled plus the amount of $10 million or more running backs in the league. I mean, when you think about it, Jacobs, Pollard, and Barkley all got franchised. So there's 3 teams that value, and it's not the team's fault that the number in terms of the value of the position doesn't rise, because ultimately running backs don't get a second contract, and it's rare that they do. And so they don't play into why are the quarterbacks' numbers keep rising? Because they get second contracts, they get third contracts.
All right, there we go. There's Mike Lombardi on his podcast there, and that, I mean, we've been talking about this for a hot minute now, this Josh Jacobs thing, and there it is. I think very well said and broken down is that the anybody that's in the camp of, well, the Raiders are disrespecting Josh Jacobs, or the Raiders aren't honoring Josh Jacobs, or it's a slap in the face, or whatever term you want to use that's derives at it's an insult to the player. There is no such thing. It is not show friends. It's show business. This thing is run like a business. It's not the team's fault that exact scenario is what's playing out. Now, does that make it right? No, it doesn't. And should there be something done at some point in the collective bargaining agreement that could maybe isolate the running back position and give these guys a little bit more of a favorable deal in terms of either, one, getting them to that second contract by maybe shortening up their rookie deals, or giving them more guaranteed money on the front end on a rookie deal? I don't know what the answer is. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an agent, nor am I the head of the players union. So I'm not going to try to pretend like I have an answer for it. But there are smart enough people running this freaking league that's this giant conglomerate of billionaires. They'll figure it out. But is it the team's fault in these negotiating periods? Absolutely not. Do I begrudge Josh Jacobs for trying to get all he can? Absolutely not. I don't, neither party is at fault. And in this world of polarization, in this world of Twitter, where we want to have a good guy and a bad guy, sometimes you have neither. Sometimes you just have a situation you have to work through. Both parties are going to do what's best for them. And ultimately, I think they're going to come to a deal. I was listening to Scott and Mo the other day on Silver and Black Today. Shout out those guys and shout out their support of the One Nation Foundation. I was listening to them talk about it. And Mo is talking about like a 3-year, $39 million deal with like X amount, say, well, I don't remember what his number was, but let's say with 25 guaranteed. Okay. That's kind of about where the market is going to max out at for a Josh Jacobs, or at least start the conversation.
Sure.
And we don't know as fans, there might be an offer like that on the table already that he's just kind of not even willing to address. We don't know what the situation is. We do know that with these cryptic, social media posts, he's clearly not favorable in what, or he's not.
He's not thrilled with the progress
He's not thrilled at where it's at. Absolutely. But that said, until this thing gets to training camp, it really is it's just a lot of speculation because we really don't know what's going on.
It's a lot of smoke.
It really is. And I think that by the time you get down to it, the Raiders are going to do right by Josh Jacobs based on what's right for them.
Right.
And it's going to be up to him if he wants to, quote, literally play ball, no pun intended. And he's going to be faced with a choice, man. Like, you can either go Le'Veon Bell and sit out and waste a year of your incredibly valuable playing career, because that's the whole point for these running backs anyways. That's a reason that they're in the position they are, is that their window of their prime is so short. So you're going to waste a year of that dicking around by sitting out of camp? I don't think so, man.
I don't think so
I think
either.
they're going to get a deal done. But, I think ultimately my point to this is that, there is no villain.
No.
Either way.
No.
There is no villain in this thing. There's no bad guy. Everyone's just trying to do the right thing.
I totally agree with that. And a lot of folks will say, well, this is a Raider problem. Why aren't the Raiders giving Josh Jacobs his money? It's like what you just said. It's a league thing. The Giants are doing the same thing with Saquon, and the Cowboys are doing the same thing with Pollard. Isn't it Pollard? It's Cowboys Pollard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Or is it the Colts Pollard? Or I don't know.
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But
it happened. But the ultimate happened to Zeke, though.
And it happened to Zeke, and Zeke got freaking axed.
Zeke got freaking axed.
And so you move forward past that conversation because now the conversation is, well, the Raiders just going to trade him. Like, I don't think there's no situation that would happen. They would just let Josh sit if he's not going to agree and he decides he doesn't want to play ball. Say what you will. I mean, the Raiders hold all the cards in this. And that's one of the things that Saquon was talking about last week, that it seems unfair that the teams have the hand. But I mean, that's just the way it is. Like, that sucks, but it is what it is. So do you want to play or do you not? At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. But some of these people are going, well, we need to trade him and get some sort of value out of him. But
what are you going to trade him for? You got to have a partner.
You got to have a partner.
It's the reason we couldn't trade Derek.
It's exactly. So you look at the same thing. So that team would be in the same situation where they would in turn have to give up a bunch to put, for Josh and have to pay that big bag. So they would be in that same situation. But so you say that does happen. Josh Jacobs goes away.
And where would he go? He would have to go. I think Mo and Scott speculated the Rams. That would, although they just signed Sony Michel back, so that's probably
I saw a bunch
not
of people
going to
go, "Oh, he's going to wind up being a Bronco."
Hell no! There is
me?
zero chance the Raiders would ever trade him away to a division rival.
There you go.
Absolutely zero chance.
No chance.
There's barely a chance they would trade him within the conference.
Oh, for sure.
If he's going anywhere, it's almost cursed. He's going to Seattle or something.
He's going somewhere where we never see him.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, but you look at that and say, okay, what if that happens? I mean, are you good with the rest of this backfield? No. A lot of people are going, well, we would need to go get a guy. Well, who are you going to get that's not going to be in the same situation as what you were with Josh Jacobs? Were you going to go call Zeke? Were you going to go call Leonard Fournette? You going to call Dalvin Cook? All these guys that got cut away because they wanted the bag and didn't get it and just said, okay, fine, I won't, okay, I'm done.
Derrick Henry's the only one.
He's the only one.
The only one that's sticking around. And he's Derrick freaking Henry. And all offseason, what have we heard? That they were shopping him. They were shopping him,
They
too.
wanted to get rid of his contract, I mean, come on, man. I mean, like you said, let's wait until training camp before we start freaking out about this stuff, because I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be
okay. And I think that Josh Jacobs it's important. And I keep referencing back to Scott and Mo. I just came off a road trip and I got caught up on a whole bunch of their stuff.
Yeah.
But they make a lot of great points. And that's the reason we love those guys, because they have a lot of great level-headed takes. But they were talking about it's kind of a big deal for Josh Jacobs to be a part of this offense, because Jimmy G is not the kind of guy that's going to put the team on his back and throw, 50 times a game and, whatever. You know what I mean? And So I think that he's a very integral part of this offense. So it is very important to the Raiders, but they're not going to do it in a way that's going to sacrifice or mortgage their future. That's not going to, the NFL, we say it all the time around here. Your contracts are based on what you're going to do, not what you did before.
There you go.
Thanks for that 1,600 yards, Josh Jacobs. Thanks for being the rushing leader. We won 6 games. We have an entire team to build. We're not going to sacrifice our ability to build said team in the future by tying up a bunch of money in one player in a position to where there are other options. And I know that it gets thrown around a lot. They're like, oh, we could just pick up a guy in a later round, or we can just do this in a later round, because you got guys like Isaiah Pacheco that show up on the Chiefs and go to a Super Bowl. Yeah, well, that's the damn Chiefs, and we ain't the Chiefs. You know what I mean?
And that was the luck of the draw. Who would have imagined? 31 other teams didn't imagine, and including the Chiefs, because if they thought that Pacheco was going to be the superstar all-star, he would have been drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round. He would not have been a 7th round guy. He just happened to be the hungry, gritty, balls to the wall kind of running back that was going to do whatever to win a championship. And kudos to that guy. Respect. 7th round guy doing that kind of stuff. That's badass. I hate that it was with the Chiefs, but that's tight, dude. What a cool story that is.
Great story. And I don't want to diminish his accomplishments last year, but if you don't think having Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback helps your running game, you're going to come up and test the line of scrimmage when you got 15 back there? Hell no. Because guess what? He's going to end up hitting 87 over the goddamn middle.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the truth of a lot of it too. So we can't make those comparisons. And that's where we always say, the Raiders need to build to beat the Chiefs.
Right.
Is Josh Jacobs going to help us single-handedly with a bunch of money tied up in him? Is he going to single-handedly help us beat the Chiefs? I don't know.
He didn't do it last year. He didn't do it.
Well, the defense, Jeff, it's all our defense sucks.
Okay. Well, but at the end of the year, Josh Jacobs also came out and said, money isn't the number one concern here. I want to win a championship.
Yeah,
I want to do this, except that it is. You know what I mean? But but he goes, well, let's add pieces. If they're not going to pay me, then we need to add pieces. Well, we did on that side of the ball. We're going to make your job a lot easier.
Absolutely.
If you've got big old 87 Michael Mayer right in the middle, you got now Jacoby Myers, and you got 2 number 1 wide receivers and the best slot receiver in the National Football League. You're still good. You're still going to have all those holes, bro. And now this offensive line is gelling. They were on a hot streak towards the end of the year. There's pieces here. We're building something good. Come on and get your 10 mil, and we've got all the extra money next year, and then we can give you a bag. But, do it again. Do it again. You know what I mean? No. What am I doing? Oh, I'm hitting the thing. Sorry. I've only got one hand.
Sorry, I was trying to be discreet.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Jeff's over here going,
well, it just doesn't matter. Yeah, but yeah. So, but all that being said. All that said, okay, at Twitter, I'm talking to you. Stop posting all these fake clickbaity things.
Oh, my gosh.
That gets everyone up in it because it's your fault. It's your fault that you're doing it. It's your fault that these, Raider Nation is freaking out.
And tell them what they're doing.
Well, because they're editing pictures and going, oh my gosh, look, Josh Jacobs just posted on his Instagram story that he covered up his Raider tattoo. No, he didn't. But people like me will go to Instagram and be like, oh my gosh, did he? And no, and it's just a picture of
his kids or something.
Or whatever. I'm just like, come on, man, don't do that. But you see this clickbaity stuff like Josh Jacobs threatened to whip Josh McDaniels' ass at practice. What? Where did that come from? Stop talking about that shit.
Yeah.
That shit ain't real.
Yeah, I'm shocked. Maybe I shouldn't be because the whole
maybe we shouldn't be.
Because when you look at the way that the landscape of, and I'm going to derail my soapbox quickly, and then take us to a break. We're going to go on the next subject. But when you look at the broader landscape of social media and the shit that people buy into on any kind of subject matter, politics, I'm looking at you. Sports fan, I'm looking at you. People buy into some shit with that, that whole idea of clickbait and headline and if it's on there, it must be real. It's fascinating to me, the shit that people will just immediately accept as truth. And And thankfully, it gets your attention. But because I even asked you at the starting the show, hey, was that stuff about him covering up his tattoo, was that real? And you were like, no, man, because you looked into it. You took the time. You know what I mean? And so I would encourage you, Raider Nation. Number one, above all else,
check your facts, bruh.
Check your facts and guard your heart.
That's it.
Nobody enjoyed a good Donnybrook more than sixth-year linebacker Phil Villapiano.
This is Phil Villapiano, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio.
So Murph,
hey Jeff,
we got more polarizing topics to talk
I was
about.
going to say, let's talk about something that doesn't ever get anybody energized. Let's talk about Derek Carr.
Okay, let's do that.
Hey.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Oh my gosh. So it's so funny. So Derek, I guess, I don't even know when it was, posts up a picture
a couple days ago,
posts up a picture with him training with Darren Waller, and and some people are out there just like got hearts in their eyes, and I'm just like, get over it. I'm like, get over it. Like it's ultimately like, look, it's over. You're like at this point, if you're still pining for whether it's Derek or Darren or anybody else if you're still pining, you're the weird ex-boyfriend at this point. Like,
for sure.
It's weird.
You're in the bushes watching them.
Yeah, it's like it really is like if you're expressing and listen, and I'm not telling you how to be a fan. I'm just telling you how this is interpreted from a lot of other folks. When you're doing those things, it's interpreted as that you're kind of being a weirdo for these people that aren't on your football team anymore. And so the story this week, it isn't necessarily that. That's just a side note from me. But like the story is that Darren Waller said that it was no shocker to him to get traded by the Giants. But what was the tag to that though? Also, Jeff.
Well, he was because he said he was not shocked because he heard
that he got
rumors
traded or whatever.
That he got traded, but he was shocked that he went to New York. Which I don't really understand.
I don't understand that either.
I don't understand that portion of it at all. Like, I mean, if we're getting rid of you, like whoever made the call, like, okay, we're trying to get rid of your ass. But I mean, you go back and you read some of those stories, and we've talked about them on the show before about, his departure and what led up to that thing and all that stuff. He, we talked a lot about, when he got hurt and during that bye week, the team kind of wanted him to do certain things, hey, come train here, come do this, come rest here, come do whatever. And he was like, nah, man, I'm going to LA. We're like, what? Like, so he kind of didn't want to play ball with the team anymore either.
Yeah,
and so I don't know if he was another one of those guys that kind of got his feelings hurt because he wasn't getting his way at practice or whatever, or during games or what have you. But like, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, the not shocker portion of it should have been his play on the field. Because yes, he had an injury-ridden season, and that's really unfortunate for him. But when he was on the field, even at the beginning of the season before he got hurt, like the product on the field was dog shit. Like it was not good. We saw it firsthand live in person. Like, I mean, you go back and watch a previous episode of Silver and Black Today, and you see Swag Jeff drunker than a bicycle yelling about how much Darren Waller sucks. You know what I mean?
He's got concrete hands in the end zone, man.
He should have had 3 touchdowns that game.
Terrible. It was terrible. Bad. And so, and so, yeah, this is and this is a genuine question, and I don't understand it.
Okay.
I don't understand why with some players, and I'll use our buddy Will as an example because we spent time with him, talking to him on and off the record. He gets it that the NFL is a business. He understands his position in relation to said business. And yes, he can be jokey on social media and loading year 10.2 and all that kind of stuff. But in his heart and in reality, the reason he can joke about it is because he fully understands his place in or out of the league. I would even argue that Taylor is like that.
Oh, yeah.
He gets it. He even said it before he got cut by the Titans. Long before that, months before.
Probably get cut.
I'm probably going to get cut this year because he gets the business of it. So I don't understand why you have players like that and many others, and then you have players like Waller and Jacobs that don't understand it and take it like it's this personal affront. It doesn't make sense to me. Look, it's a cutthroat ass business. It has nothing to do with anything else. And for Darren Waller to say, well, okay, I'm not surprised I got traded, but I'm surprised I got traded to the Giants. Why? As I just talked about Jacobs, if the Raiders were to trade him, they're going to trade him as far away from the AFC West as they possibly can. That's what New York Giant football is. You can't get further away, literally and figuratively, when you look at the way that divisions and conferences are structured. So the last thing you want to do is trade a player away that at one point was a very dominant player. The last thing you want to do is give him the opportunity to come back and kick your ass. Ask John Robinson, the GM of the Titans, how that works out.
Exactly.
And he traded that guy, A.J. Brown, who is what I'm talking about, in that same scenario. He traded him at a conference, long out of the division, halfway across the country, and A.J. Brown still found a way to come back and kick the Titans' ass, and it cost the guy his job. So the fact that Darren Waller's surprised that he would
But we're about to see, because we're playing the Giants.
Well, we're playing the Saints. No, we playing the Saints too.
No, we're playing. No, we don't play the Saints.
We don't
till
play
next
the Saints.
year.
Oh, next year that we do. Yeah.
But we played the Giants this year.
But we got them at home. Yeah.
But we got them at home.
Yeah,
we got him at home.
We got him at
so
home. We got him at home. But in terms of like week in, week out,
Yeah.
he's not gonna, and he's not gonna, he's not a Charger.
No.
He's not even a Jet.
No.
Right? He's a Giant.
we won't see him in the playoffs.
Yeah,
We won't see him in
that's
any critical game like that. I mean, I think the Giants schedule, I think we got them smack in the middle of the year, something like that. It's a home game right before the bye week or whatever. Like, I mean,
And that's more my point, is that-
every game's important. We're not trading. We wouldn't trade him to the Broncos, or we wouldn't trade him to, like you said, I mean, the Titans or anyone like that we could see later in a crucial moment.
Right. Absolutely.
So-
Absolutely.
So, and not to mention that he shouldn't have been shocked because he probably saw that tight end draft, the draft class this year too.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that draft
Good
class.
point.
I mean, there's 5th round tight ends that were going that'll probably be starters this year.
That's a
like,
great
I mean,
point, dude.
holy cow! If there was a time for him to get traded, like he probably saw that and like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, not to mention, Foster was still playing really well, and and it's unfortunate that Foster is going through the health issues that he is and all that kind of stuff. And the Raiders let him walk as well before any of that was diagnosed. But I mean, he saw all the writing on the wall.
All the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, totally surrounding him. So I mean, who knows?
Yeah, and that was another market because you're right. Not only was it was their free agents that were out there, but then the incoming draft class. So that tight end market was muddy as hell.
Oh yeah.
Frankly, we're lucky we got anything in return for Waller. I mean, if you want to be real candid about it, the fact that the Giants were willing to give something up when they could have just spent a lower round pick to got their next tight end, we'll take it. What did we get for him? I don't even remember. Someone in the chat.
I mean, it's a 3rd round pick. I can't remember who we ended up picking with him. I feel like we traded that pick.
Was it an ultimate trade?
Did we trade away that pick to?
You're
I
asking
think
the wrong guy,
I think
man.
we traded that pick to move back up to get Michael Mayer.
To get Michael Mayer. Okay, well, there you go.
There you
Then
go.
there's
So
a fair swap.
There you go.
Yeah, speaking of contracts too, right?
Yep.
So there you
Yep.
go. There you go. So good stuff there, Raider Nation. As always, chat room. We're not live tonight. We love you guys so very, very much, and thank you for being in there. And I'm looking at that camera. I should be looking at this camera. I'm going to go to this camera. There we go. Thank you guys so much for being in the chat room tonight. We love you guys so very, very much. Let us know your thoughts, because that's the other thing about this show too. And I always want to make this point is that, like I said earlier, I'm not trying to tell you how to be a fan. I'm telling you how some things can be interpreted from other folks, but that doesn't make it right. It doesn't make my opinion right. Doesn't make Jeff's opinion right. Doesn't make yours right or wrong. Well, I always want to know what yours is, and I respect it. And ultimately, as a fan, the only thing I care about is the passion is that you root for this football team. None of it else matters to me. We could agree on nothing or we could agree on everything, and I won't think any differently of you. And in fact, as Uncle Mosh always says, debate is the highest form of education. So bring on those alternate opinions. If you got different vibes, if you got different thoughts, and really, I would love for you to share them with us, not only in the chat room, but in the YouTube comments, and call us. Like, I can't tell you how many times on Twitter, I'll post up a little video of something or whatever, and I get these guys that come on there and they're like, oh, you need to let me on your show, and I thought I could tell you about how this goes and that goes and whatever else, whatever their point of the day was or whatever. And I always give them the number. Call 909-345-3346. We'll play your call on the air, and we'll talk about it, and we'll have a healthy discussion around it. Like, we're not afraid of an alternative viewpoint or opinion around here. And you know what? No one ever takes me up on it. So if you're that person that you disagree with the stuff that we're saying, let us know. And don't be shy to voice it.
We will give you a platform.
I will give you a platform
Yeah.
for your alternate opinion. 100% we will, Jeff. Great point.
Yeah.
You know, we'll pick out your call and we'll play it, man.
That's it.
Let it fly. Let it fly. So bring those opinions on, and we appreciate your participation in that, because this show, ultimately, I'll say this and then take us to a break. This show was designed and is at its best when it's conversational. It's the reason it ain't the Murf podcast. I don't want to sit here and talk at you guys just pontificating my own opinion. That's not to begrudge anybody that does that, but that's not my strength or wheelhouse. I don't think enough of my own opinion to just sit here and give it to you all day long. I want to have someone to bounce it with and have a conversation with. That's why Jeff's here. That's why Michelle is here. That's why Sonny has been here. That's why Uncle Mosh was here. That's why we engage with our chat room. That's why we engage by the CF Fans mailbag, voicemails, messages, our emails. All that stuff is hugely important to the way this show goes. So bring your opinion. Like Jeff said, we want to give you a platform for it.
There you go.
This is Kevin, the Raider Nerd, live at the Oakland Raiders tailgate. Raiders! We got Gorilla Rilla. Say hi to Uncle Mosh and Murf.
I love you guys. Much love from the black hole, baby. Just win.
All right. So speaking of opinions, Swag Jeff.
Yes.
It is the opinion of our good friends at the Raider Ramble.
Okay.
I'm talking about our good buddy Mario Tovar. And if we ever get back into a spot where we can start doing interviews again, I would love to have Mario back in here.
Would
and
be
we
fantastic.
will. Once we get back into the new fan cave and all that good stuff, once we get that all set up, we're going to start doing interviews again, unfortunately, because normally this is the time of year we're doing interviews during the off season. But anyways, Mario will be one of the ones that will be on the short list. So the Raider Ramble is a fantastic Raider blog. I even hesitate to call it a blog nowadays, man. It's just a straight up website. And he does a great job, him and his team over there. So he puts up this opinion. It says, no question about it, no other trio in Raiders history comes close. Name a better one. And he puts up a picture that says, that's got 3 Hall of Famers, Art Shell, Gene Upshaw, and Jim Otto. And I thought that was a really fun conversation piece. I wouldn't have picked this trio. And,
Okay.
And I'll tell you, do you want me to tell you why, or do you want to give me yours first? Or
No, I got two choices, so you go.
okay, all right. I'm going to tell you why this wouldn't have been my choice, okay? When I look at these 3 guys with Shell and Upshaw, and some people, members of Raider Nation, are going to give me all kinds of shit for this, but it's okay. It's just how I feel. When it comes to Shell and Upshaw, slam dunk, yes.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
I don't include Jim Otto in there because they didn't play long enough. By the time the Raiders were winning championships, it was Dave Dalby.
Yes.
Dave Dalby was the center for all 3 of our Super Bowls. He played alongside Art Shell and Gene Upshaw and also Mickey Marvin and George Beeler and a whole slew of other guys that came through. But Upshaw, Shell, and Otto, so if we're talking about a trio, these 3, while amazing as individuals and as Shell and Upshaw collectively as a unit are all time, Otto's not part of that. Dave Dalby took over for Otto in, I think, 74.
I think so.
Something like that. So by the time you get to 77 Super Bowl by date, that's when this offensive line is really in the wheelhouse. So in terms of trio, I'm saying that you got to consider Dalby before you would consider Otto. And rest in peace, Dave Dalby died way too early back in 2002, but from a car accident of all darn things. So, so rest in peace to him. Rest in power. Raider in peace to Dave Dalby, 3-time Super Bowl champ. Man, at the time that he took over for Otto, we had in that run we had Jim Otto. Then Dalby takes over, and then Don Mosbar after that. It was
There
like
you go.
boom, boom, boom. Like talk about a run of centers, man.
Yeah.
Incredible. And Dave Dalby, frankly, should be considered for the Hall of Fame. I mean, when you look at
for sure.
3-time Super Bowl champion, the way that this on this line, come on. Anyways, all right. That said, so what would my 3 be? Well, if we're going to consider Hall of Famers that played together, my 3 are Kenny, Freddie, and Cliff.
That's right here too. That's right here. I mean, and that's tough to argue. You know, I mean, if you're talking just Hall of Famers, to me, that's your answer. That's your answer because you got other trios. I mean, sometimes it's hard to make a third on some of those things, but like, I mean, you look at like the all-time, like, you know, guys that just went at it together in battle or whatever. I mean, Stabler, Biletnikoff, and Branch, that's the answer. I mean, the only other one that I could really point at and say, but they're not all Hall of Famers, would be Willie Brown, Jack Tatum, and George Atkinson. Like, I feel like that's strong. That's strong. But then if you would have had a third that you could really say, like, man, that's big time, would be Lester Hayes, Mike Haynes, and you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you got those two, they're like, but then the third one, you're like, well.
And that's kind of like, even though I just, you know,
I mean, say Mike Davis in that, you know, as safety, but I mean, like, and he's solid, no slouch, obviously, but like,
you're talking about two, and that's where the conversation about the offensive line was, that like, you have the pairing of Shell and Upshaw is, in my mind, not even arguable. It's the greatest pairing of offensive linemen of all time.
Yes.
Now, I know there are people that are Packer fans and stuff would probably like argue that and whatever, and that's a fair discussion to have.
Yeah, but you're wrong.
But then you add in Dave Dalby, and he's that guy where you're like, okay. Like, even though as much great as he was, and I just said, I could see the drop-off. Same thing when you're talking about Hayes and Haynes. Maybe the greatest of all time. Pairings of corners. So who do you put in the third? It's no matter what, it's a drop-off.
Right.
Where when you look at Stabler, Branch, and Biletnikoff, to me, there's no drop-off. When you look at the greatest players of the time in which they played, all three of those guys were at times the best at their position in the time in which they played.
Yep.
So, I mean, that one's a hard, and really, if you want to get crazy with it, you could swap in Casper for either Freddie or Cliff.
Yep.
Like, there's a foursome in there.
Yep.
That's, I mean, incomparable to me when you talk. I mean, yes, we're biased. Don't get me wrong, man. I get it. But like, you're talking about some of the greatest of the greats there with that. You know, I was thinking about linebackers. It's kind of the same thing. You got Matt Millen, Rod Martin, but then you got to kind of take you know what I mean?
Right.
You get a little bit of a dip there, unless you want to count Hendricks. Did you have that one too?
Well, I had him on the defensive line though. I kind of had that same thing on the D line. I had like Howie Long, Alzado, Hendricks.
Or you see, and that's the thing, because Hendricks didn't always stand up.
He was
kind of. Now you could go Howie, Greg Townsend, Lyle Alzado.
Well, there you go.
You could do that one. I think that one's.
But did they play together long enough to say that that's a trio?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I mean, Howie and Greg did. Right, I mean, they played several
Howie
years
and Greg
together.
did. Oh, absolutely.
You know? But Alzado was just so like on the tail end of his thing and caught like a piece of that. You know, kind of like what you were saying with Jim Otto. You know, they just didn't. Right. They weren't that unit for a while.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the only other one I thought of, and you can't tell, Kenny Stabler's my all-time favorite player.
Yeah,
Kenny Blanda LaMonica for quarterback room,
bro.
That's pretty solid.
That's solid.
That's pretty good, right?
That's pretty, yeah. That's good. And you know, and I was trying to think of one like, because you could say Kenny King, Marcus Allen.
Ooh,
like I mean, like who would you add as the third of that? Like one of the offensive linemen? Because I mean, I don't think you're adding Jim Plunkett into that mix. I mean, maybe you do, but I mean, you know,
just go by backfield.
Just backfield, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
What are some of the more modern ones? Like, what would you do? So like, let's go. Okay, let's see.
Like in today's NFL?
Yeah, but like Raider trios within the last 20 years. Because you got Timmy and Jerry.
We'd have Timmy, Jerry, Gannon.
Timmy, Jerry, and Gannon. Yeah,
you know
yeah. That's pretty solid. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think of like some other like trios in there. Because you know what a fun one would be Kirk Morrison, Thomas Howard, Robert Thomas. The last time we had a great linebacking core. That's a good one. But you're talking about
it's a reach.
They
a
all
little bit
kind of everything's a reach after talking about the guys the guys from the 70s, man.
Right.
Everything is.
Well, I'd like to say you know when we do episode 474 of Raiders Fan Radio that we could say that it'd be Max Crosby, Tyree Wilson, and
Chandler Jones.
And Chandler Jones.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
So,
yeah, there was another
we'll
one
see.
just flashed into my mind too that I was just thinking of. Oh crap, I can't remember who it was now. There was another one. Eric Allen, Rod Woodson, Charles Woodson.
Oh, there you go.
That'd be
a solid one.
That'd be a pretty solid one. You know, even though Rod and Eric and EA were on the tail end of their career and Charles was the young guy coming up, still, man, that's a Super Bowl right there. So, I mean,
for sure.
You know what I mean? So those guys were pretty solid. So speaking of that, and that's funny because this kind of dovetails into something else that I thought about today.
Okay.
First off, rest in peace, Raider in peace to Bob Brown.
Yep.
Legendary Raider that passed. And we've got a call from Houston Raider Steve we're going to play.
Yep. And Paul talks about it too.
Does he? Okay. So I'm going to let those guys get to that. But on that topic of losing Bob Brown and considering this discussion that we just had where it's like, okay, what are these all-time trios? These guys are not going to be around. You know, we're getting to the point, unfortunately, where when you look at those three, so Otto, Upshaw, Shell, there's only one of those guys that's alive still.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We've already lost Cliffy. You know what I mean? We've lost Stabler a good while ago. Thank goodness Freddie B still around and Casper's still around and, you know, Hendricks and these guys. But we are now getting to the point where the legendary championship Raiders are starting to pass on, man. And that's, I'm almost cursed again. That's sad to me, bro. Like, I mean, for real, like, I don't get emotional about things that are outside of family very often. I'm not a crier at movies typically or whatever. I mean, every once in a while, something will get me emotional or whatever. But things that are exterior, you know, things that are outside your friends and family, immediate family, don't hit me here. But this is one, man. I've just thought about this and I'm like, damn it, man. Like, we, as a Raider collective, need to get some more shit in the pipeline that we can take pride in and have confidence in it as fans because, and I know people have given us a lot of shit for a long time talking about myopic Raider fans and how we look into the past and, you know, oh yeah, well, you guys had one shit in 40 years. And none of those people that have those opinions are wrong. It doesn't make those things not exist. I think the Packers are trying to give away any championships that they won back in the day or anybody else. Like, those things don't stop counting. So that whole idea of like when you've won it doesn't really matter. But the idea that, yeah, it's been a long time and the guys that did it aren't going to be around much longer. And we've already lost so many of them to this point.
Right.
And we're getting to the point that we talked about in the last live show. We're all now tied in the division, all four teams at 15 division titles per.
Right.
And we're probably going to fall behind after this year because I don't think the Raiders are good enough to win it. I mean, I'm not going to say that they're not because it's only June, but on paper in the recent history, odds don't look great.
Sure.
So my whole idea is that like this kind of, when Bob Brown, like, and I knew of Bob Brown obviously and had a reverence for him and his time with the Raiders, but he wasn't like one of my favorite players. I didn't grow up rooting for him like I rooted for Shell and Upshaw, right? Or Dalby or Bueller or any of those other classic linemen. But man, it represented something else to me where it was like, damn it, Raiders. Like,
we've lost another one.
Get our shit together because let's honor this amazing championship legacy that all these great players left us and them. Yeah. Let's honor that by painting some new lines on the road, Jeff.
Absolutely, man.
Right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've talked about it for the last several shows, how important those alumni days are. You know, I mean, the you know, just the reverence and the mystique of the Raiders that gets passed on from the remaining legends that we have on this team, passing over to some of these new guys like Max and stuff like that. And some of these people have clicked in, they're locked in, they get it, you know, but how great would it be before Fred leaves us, before Shell leaves us, before name other Raider legend leaves us, for us to be able to go, thank you. You taught us that. And we got it.
And look what we did.
Here's the fourth. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
come
bro.
on, man. Like, let's send them out the right way. You know, they're bringing us in the right way. Let's send them out in style.
Absolutely. That's such a great point. All those guys that came out for Alumni Day, you know, and like, I'll give you a great example. Like, LaMonica used to be a huge part of Alumni Day.
Yes.
And him and Phil would joke, you know, being paisans, a couple old Italian guys getting after it and chatting it up and all that. That's gone. Daryl LaMonica's not going to be around to see his legacy with the Raiders be honored. And so that's an amazing point, Jeff, to see Max Crosby, share a championship moment with Ted Hendricks or Greg Townsend.
Or Howie. You know what I mean? Come on, Raiders. Damn it, Raiders, come on.
Damn it, Raiders. Let's go, man. Damn. Yeah. Oh, all right, let's hit a break. Or go to the Sea of Fans.
Let's do that.
There he is, fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's caught, he throws. It is.
Hey, Murf.
Hey, Swag Jeff.
Hey, so the more of them and less of us is a good thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that in a multitude of ways. You can either hit us up at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. Okay? You got something to write with?
Hang on a second.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's see. Okay.
All right. That is show. So S as in Super Bowl.
Okay. Oh.
H as in Howie.
Okay.
O as in Otto.
Oh, okay.
And W as in
just win, baby.
Win. Yeah, there you go. At RaidersFanRadio.com. There you go.
Remember that?
I'll never forget it.
Thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Win,
absolutely.
win.
So you can do that, or you can call us at 909-345-3346. That's
909-345-3346.
So before we get to the voicemails of the night, we've got a couple of those, but we do have an email.
Hey.
We've got an email because we always do.
Let me guess.
Well, who do you think it is?
Paul?
Are you going to press the button?
Oh, no.
Oh, I thought you were going to prematurely Paul us.
No, it always goes after. Premature appellation.
There you go. So, hey, so evening, everybody. So stupid. Sometimes you just got to pre-Paul a little bit. But
it happens to all of us sometimes.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Hey, evening, everybody. Firstly, this week, I hope all of you had a great Father's Day. Salute to all the fathers in Raider Nation and to the Godfather himself, Al Davis. Also, rest in peace to Bob Brown. He played for the Raiders before my time, but he wore the shield with distinction, and for that reason, I thank him and wish him and his family and friends best wishes. I was at a family gathering last week. Some fart was going on and on about something dull, and I was trying to look my best to be interested in what was being said. In reality, I was thinking about more important things, like the next 5 weeks leading up to training camp. I made my excuses, found a quiet part of the house, and started reading some articles on PlanetRaiders.com. Feel like shameless plug.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
So he was reading one piece by Big Mike Raider that said the 5 bold takes for the new season. An excellent article that inspired me to try some not so bold predictions of my own. So here it goes. Biggest leap of the year, Luke Masterson. I was impressed with Luke last year, and I think he'll be a big player for us this season. I can see him taking big strides in a key area of the field for us. Thoughts, Murph?
I like the choice.
Yes.
I think that's definitely a good one.
Okay.
Wow. Put me on the spot here. Let's see. What do you have one?
I like that one
because I know what mine is.
Mine is Divine Diablo.
Good for you, because that's what I was going to pick.
Same. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So
because he's our sleeper for the defense this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So prove it year. Divine Diablo and Zamir White. Diablo will be given the green dot again this year. The talk during OTAs leads us to believe that the coaching staff are really excited about what they're seeing from him. Man, I hope they're right. We're desperate for a linebacker to take games by the balls. Zamir was 50-50 last year, but wasn't given a lot of reps. He'll be given more responsibility this year, especially if Josh Jacobs isn't around. I like the prove it year with Zamir.
Okay.
And I would swap it with Luke on that.
Okay.
I would give Luke
right.
because Luke had opportunities and we saw flashes, and I have a second one for you.
Okay, give me your second one, because as of right now, I hate to tell you this, but you're both wrong.
Okay, good.
Okay, go.
Okay, good. So my other prove it year, I want that I think a prove it year for a guy like Tyler Hall.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
I like that one because when we saw him, he was flashy. When you saw him on the field, he was at the ball. So do it again. You know, and some of these other guys, some of these other
and he rates out real high, like his PFF scores.
100%.
Like, yeah, Tyler Hall's way up there. Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's go.
Okay, so I think you guys are missing the obvious answer. I think you're thinking about it too hard.
Okay, good.
It's Jimmy G.
A prove-it year for Jimmy G.
You got to prove that he can stay healthy. He's got to prove that he can put an offense on his back.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He's got to prove a lot of things. He's got to prove that he was worth the money he's gotten paid. There's a lot of prove-its in there. Because if Jimmy G farts and falls, if he freaking plays 3 games and gets injured, all he's going to do is confirm every opinion out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are some folks that have opinions about Tyler Hall and, you know, whoever else.
But I like
all
that.
the opinions out there are about Jimmy Garoppolo.
I like that. You know, and that'll be a bold take. If he doesn't play if he shits the bed this year and plays 3 or 4 games, he may not start another NFL game.
Yeah, like what if he gets hurt in camp? You know what I'm saying? Like,
prove
that you can go 17 or 21 games.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like, prove that, Jimmy. Like, I think there's a lot of
I like that. Okay, so next one, player on a knife edge. You could argue that this one is Jimmy G.
I was going to say, there's the same
because
answer.
of his fitness issues. Indeed, one Big Mike's bold prediction was that Jimmy would complete all 17 regular season games and lead the league in completion percentage. Personally, I think it may be Trayvon Merrick. He's got the quality, but it is only shown in his abilities in bits and pieces. We need more of him, a lot more.
I like the Merrick choice.
I do too.
I have 2 others though that came to mind.
Okay.
Do you have?
You go first.
Okay. First one is Renfro.
Yeah.
Because that could go either way, man.
Yeah.
That could go completely, and we don't know. Like this whole idea of like him, was he an improv runner? You know, like is he going to mesh with the system? Like all that, like we don't know. That is a big, you know, again, if we're calling knife's edge, like could go this way or that way. Hunter's one, and then Jones is the other one.
Chandler.
Yeah, we don't know. Like because the Raiders will tell us he had a great season last year. The statistics tell us he didn't do shit. So which one is it? We're going to find out because after you do, you know, small sample size, 1 year, 2 years. Okay, let's see what we got, especially when you got a young buck like Tyree Wilson now, to where these guys could be coming and relieving each other. You shouldn't be getting gassed as an older man out there, Chandler Jones.
Yep. Well, I can't argue with any of those. I think all 4 of those are great choices. So we're going to move on to most underrated. Most underrated player this year, Isaiah Polamalu. I like this guy. He's put on some beef, which gives you pride. And I think Patrick Graham has plans for him in a hybrid linebacker role.
Okay. I like that one. Man, that's tough because I want to keep it on defense too. I think Jerry Tillery. I don't think people talk enough about the impact that he had in the short time that he was on the field last year.
Yeah.
And a lot of the rhetoric in the offseason was, well, what are we going to do enough to address the defensive line in the interior? Except maybe we kind of already had some pieces in place. We already drafted 2 guys in the previous draft.
Yep.
Plus adding Tillery in, who was effective. Like, I don't think Tillery gets talked enough about. Yeah. I think he goes along with that whole Quentin Jefferson, Solomon Thomas kind of thing. Like he's that kind of an impact. There wasn't like a big glamorous signing when we signed those 2 guys,
solid.
But they did amazing.
Absolutely.
So I think Tillery's in that conversation.
Absolutely. All right, best rookie. This one's easy. Michael Mayer. This guy's a beast and looks well suited to Josh McDaniel's system. Keep a close eye on Chris Smith as well, though.
I like Chris Smith a lot, but I think he's going to be deeper in the rotation, considering that we got guys like Marcus Epps, and you know what I mean? And so I think we got other options at safety. My guy is to stay on that same side of the ball and to stay in the secondary. Ja'Cory Bennett might be a starting corner for us.
I think so, too.
It might be freaking Marcus Peters, Ja'Cory Bennett, and Nate Hobbs in the slot.
Yep.
Like it really could very well go that direction.
Yep.
And I'm a fan of Ja'Cory Bennett, man. Dude's long, he can fly.
Do too.
Like I think he's going to be legit, especially if we got like a KG vet like Marcus Peters, who is a ball hawk and we know can get turnovers. That means that they're going to be steering the ball away from him and maybe forcing some stuff to Ja'Cory Bennett. Like, I think our secondary is underrated if we pick up somebody like a Marcus Peters.
Sure.
If not, if we got to go Ja'Cory Bennett, Nate Hobbs out there, not terrible, but then you're having a different conversation. Then you're a lot more dependent on guys like Duke Shelley and David Long Jr. and Amik, and so then it's a different conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff by Paul, by the way. This is fun.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Let's see. Best new addition on the offense has to be Jimmy Garoppolo. The huge if is all we know about. The quarterback position is the most important position in sports, so please be right. Can you agree on that?
No.
Okay, no.
No, not at all. Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers, the best new addition.
Best new addition to the offense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because now we have a different level of dynamicism to that offense that we didn't have before.
Okay.
I mean, you got to go back a ways to have the wide receiver depth that we have this year, where you have a core group of guys, that can freaking get after it, man. I mean, I'm talking about going back to like Amari Cooper, Andre Holmes, like around like when you had like a group of guys that were going to be effective, and even that I don't think is
well, and
as
even
deep as what we are now.
even like the more recent history for the Raiders, like in the last few years, like I feel like that's been a topic of conversation every year where we're like, man, like at least we know we're sure in wide receiver. So I mean, but then you look at those classes and then you look what we got now. Like, I mean, even last year when we're like, oh my gosh, we got Devontae and we got, Mac Hollins and we got Hunter Renfrow and all that. But like, so now you remove Mac Hollins and you add in Jacoby Myers. You remove Darren Waller. You put in Michael Mayer. Like, bro, like, whoa, like that could be the best since like Timmy Brown days.
I'm telling you, this receiving core, I 100% agree. This could be the best receiving core we've had in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Now, do we have the quarterback? We know he can distribute the ball to players that get themselves open because we've seen him do it with Kittle, Ayuk, and freaking Debo.
Yep.
So we know he's capable of doing it. Is he going to be healthy enough to do it? That's a different story.
Sure.
But I think in terms of like improvement, which is what the question was, right? Biggest jump on offense?
The best new addition on the offense.
Best new addition, because I think that like, even if I'm not going to say Chase Garbers or any of these other guys or even Aiden O'Connell can be as effective as Jimmy Garoppolo, but you can change. I mean, it's not going to take the greatest quarterback. We're not going to need Dan Marino back there to make this offense fly. I guess that's what I'm saying.
You need a good decision maker that can put the ball where they need to be at the time they need to be there.
Absolutely. So I don't put it as much. I think it's less dependent on the quarterback individually, like Jimmy. So we're adding Jacoby Myers, added this layer that just like gave you that ability to where you don't have to have a guy that's going to come in and light it on fire and throw for 500 yards a game. But again, just my opinion. I could be wrong.
All right. Best new addition on the defense. Jacorian Bennett and Chris Smith are two very promising additions, but this year I think it'll have to be Tyree Wilson. The big if fitness-wise, but if he rocks up healthy, he could take the league by storm. And solid.
I don't think there's any argument to that.
No.
You added one of the most elite pass rushers in the draft to an already on the cusp of being an elite pass rush.
Yeah.
So
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Surprise players, Adam Plant or Drake Thomas. I know there's a lot of people far better educated than me in these matters speaking very highly about these two, so definitely worth watching them for sure. And we talked about Drake Thomas last week or week before. Like,
sure did.
Holy cow. Like, if that guy can make the 53, like, watch out. He could be a breakout guy for sure.
Absolutely. I like that one. And I also like, and I think that the Raiders kind of got a bad rap on drafting this guy because of the way that it's, the new rules and special teams are constructed in terms of returners and whatnot. But Trey Tucker can freaking fly, man.
Yeah.
And we hadn't had, and that he's like that, Jacoby Ford style guy. I know he's undersized, but man, he can get open. And so, I don't know what his ball skills are like. We'll find out when they get in pads.
Even if he just keeps Hunter Renfrow from catching freaking punts.
Well, there you go.
I mean, there's value in that.
There's value in that, but absolutely. But it's a guy that can absolutely take the top off the defense, which we hadn't had, unfortunately, since Ruggs got into his situation.
True.
Because you got some pretty badass route runners down low.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or not even down low, as we know that Devontae can stretch a little bit. But when you look at the route running ability of a Devontae Adams, a Jacoby Myers, a Hunter Renfrow, even Michael Mayer, Michael Mayer's not going to beat you with speed. He's going to beat you with maneuverability, just like Travis Kelce does.
Sure.
Right? Just like Gronk did.
Sure.
That's how he's going to beat you. And so then if you got these guys beating you on these crossers and all this other stuff that's at least midfield, if not underneath, and then all of a sudden you got this little, almost cursed again, that's freaking running a 9 route out of a slot and freaking splits a seam or splits a couple of safeties or whatever. That's, chills.
Yeah, solid. Solid.
Let's go, Trey Tucker.
All right. Best player. I believe it'll be Max Crosby. Yeah. He's going to have the best year of his career, Pro Bowl for sure, and he's going to take his career to even new heights. He's the one player on our current roster that I believe could have been the captain of one of the great teams of the 70s and 80s. Realistically, though, it has to be Jimmy Garoppolo. If we're going to be competitive in any way, shape, or form, then Jimmy Garoppolo has to play a large percentage of games. He has to be the best.
I mean, yes, ideally, but I don't think he's going to be. Because
Max Crosby will just be the best player on our team, the end.
I think he's got a shot to be Defensive Player of the Year. For sure. I don't expect Jimmy G is going to be in the running for Offensive Player of the Year because of all those reasons that I talked about. Especially we retain Josh Jacobs, they're going to run the ball a ton, and all he's going to do is distribute. You're not going to see Devontae Adams having big blowout games like he did with Derek Carr. You're not going to see any of these guys having monster numbers. It's going to look a lot more like what, obviously you could look at the Niners defense, but I think of it like what the old Saints offenses look like with Drew Brees.
Yes.
Where if you're a fantasy football player,
you never draft any of those guys.
You never draft, because one week it could be Marquez Colston, and the next week it could be, whatever. Like, I think Joe Horn is before his time. But
who else
am I thinking of?
Something.
Well, there's Jeremy Shockey was in there.
Right, sure, yeah, all those guys.
Jimmy Graham was in there.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? You had a lot of different players, because Drew would throw to like 11 different players in a game. So I think,
and all of them would have 40 yards.
You're right. Yeah. But he would have, freaking 400 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Right.
I think that's what you're gonna see is a little bit more of that. But I don't even see those kinds of numbers from Jimmy Garoppolo. Where I think that when you look at what Max Crosby is going to do, I think he's going to have a breakout year in terms of numbers. I think this is the year where he's going to get 18 sacks. You know what I mean? He's going to, because there are so many other players that they're going to have to account for on this defense, including some of the guys from linebacker, because we know guys like Mickey Spillane, I'm going to start calling him that no matter what. But he can freaking blitz. We know this guy's got a little bit of wiggle to him, and he can get through the line of scrimmage. And so I think that there's a lot of that, and even Drake Thomas, who we talk about, that guy we know can get to the backfield. So there's going to be a lot to account for that's not wearing the number 98. So I don't think he's going to be catching all the doubles.
You're going to have number 55 and 9 on that same line, most times probably at the same time. So you can't block everybody, and Max knows how to beat a guy one-on-one.
100%.
And he's taught other guys how to do it. I think one of the things I sent you an article, and he was talking about how he modeled his game after Von Miller, right? So and he said that when he was a rookie coming in, he would call Von and stuff like that. Like, hey, what do you do on this? What do you do on this? What do you do on this? Well, so Max Crosby had 2 sacks against the Chiefs last year. And so, and he was just beating this guy, just put him in a spin cycle, making the guy look stupid, the offensive lineman for the Chiefs. Von Miller called him and was like, hey, man, what'd you do right there? So he's teaching even some of the veteran guys. And Von, and so he was watching Von play the Chiefs, and Von used his move twice, and he got 2 sacks. And cool. And Crosby was like, yeah, let's go.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, so yeah, man. So
well, you know what Von Miller does so well? Khalil was like this, and I think this is where Max is going to get to in his career, and I think it starts this year. Those guys are masters at setups. I used to call Khalil Mack the closer all the time. What do we see Von Miller do? Close football games. Go in there and get the quarterback. And when I say close football games, not only are they going there and getting a late sack, they're knocking the ball loose. They're scooping and scoring. They're there's very disruptive late in games, because these guys they'll run moves and run moves and run moves and get the offensive lineman not necessarily comfortable, but they'll get them in some sort of a rhythm or a setup or an anticipation position, and then all of a sudden, boom, they do something completely different.
Yeah.
And because it's 3rd and 15 with 2 minutes left on the clock, and all of a sudden the game's over. That's I think Max Crosby's going to get to, is that he's learned to be a setup guy, and I'm telling you, he's going to get home a lot this year. I'm fired. I'm more fired up. And I don't know if that's one of Paul's questions. What player are you most excited about this season?
It's 98.
That's the guy.
It's the Condor.
It's 98, and right after him is Divine Diablo, because I think he's going to take the biggest jump.
There you go. And that's what he says. So there you go. Not as bold as Big Mike's takes, but those are my player predictions for this year. Bear in mind, though, I did say a few years ago that Tanner Muse was going to be a star, although that could come true in Pittsburgh this year, and I could be proved right yet. I believe training camp starts on July 25th, so we are only 34 days away, everybody. We need football ASAP, so not long left to wait. Stay safe, RFR family. Love you, Raider Nation. His Lordship, the Royal Scribe, Paul Edgerton, Shropshire, Mississippi, Pauly Award winner 2019 and 2022, Foggy Glasses Award winner 2020, BRT Sizzler scorekeeper, proud made man, five-time times 2 winner, winner of the Raiders Fan
+1. Go back to old habits.
Winner of the Raiders Fan Radio BRT Sizzler Award. Paul.
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 Paul, your name Paul?
Paul.
I met him with Paul.
Who?
Paul.
Paul, yes, Paul.
Paul's not here. Hey, Paul. Paul.
Hi.
I'm Paul. So we appreciate you very, very much, Paul, for your amazing email this week.
My gosh,
Paul,
that was incredible.
Paul's always bringing the heat, but that's always fun when they can be conversational. That's what we want to have around here. We appreciate you so very, very much. So if you want to be like Paul and you want to get made, bitches.
Get mad.
He was the best. I was our buddy Muhammad.
That's it.
Anyways, if you want to get made, you can call the show at 909-345-3346. And if we play your message 3 times, you can become a made man or made woman, or you can email the show an indefinite amount of times. And so while Paul is a made man, we also have 2 other made men to hear from tonight, Jeff.
Okay.
I'm going to warn you on the front end, if you have young ears in the car, this may be a one you want to turn down.
Yep.
Because there's, although it's not vulgar, there are definitely some F-bombs a-flying.
Yep.
But it's out of
And we
excitement.
didn't have time to edit it.
And I didn't have time to edit it. So there are some F-bombs in here. So again, turn this one down. Earmuffs, as Vince Vaughn would say in old school. So let's hear from our buddy down in L.A. He is Animal Mother.
What is up, Raider Nation? It's Animal Mother. Dude, I cannot fucking believe that I won that fucking jersey. I didn't get to watch. I didn't even know you guys were auctioning it. I turn on the show. I'm stuck in traffic on the fucking 210. I'm going to be late to my boys' practice. I see that you're auctioning. I hear it, and I'm like, got to get in on this. Rich Gannon is the quarterback of my early years of being a Raiders fan. When I was in middle school, when I first really started to have a passion for the game and really like watching the Raiders with my dad. He was the first quarterback that we had when that happened. He is my favorite quarterback that we've ever had. Joel called me like in the middle of practice, told me I won, and my first words were like, did they cheat for me? Because I couldn't believe it. I'm super amazed. It's fucking awesome. I'm like emotional about it. That's how much I like Rich Gannon. I told my wife it's going to go in our bedroom above our bed, but she said no. So I love you guys. I'm glad I was able to donate and get in on this raffle. Like I said, it means the world to me to have my favorite all-time Raiders jersey, my favorite all-time quarterback. Dude, I'm just super pumped right now. So that's awesome. June 28th, I'm going to run 100 kilometers or die trying, raising money. I just bullied my police union into donating a couple $100, so
nice.
There's some more money coming your guys' way. I'll be sure to try and live stream a bunch of that when I'm running throughout the night on Instagram, so you guys can watch me suffer. Love you guys. Go Raiders.
Nice. Animal Mother.
That's perfect.
It's amazing.
Perfect. You couldn't ask for a better guy to win the jersey.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That's
Absolutely.
great.
That's what the Summer of Swag's all about.
Summer
Murph.
Swag's all about. Making dreams come true here on Raiders Fan Radio.
That's what we do. That's what we do, man.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Makes me want to like break into like a Disney song or something. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I've been staring at the edge of the water. Oh my gosh.
Oh, man. All right, so let's get into the next call here.
Yeah,
So
let's do that.
Let's hear from our buddy. So we'll go from Southern California down to South Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and hear from our buddy. We hadn't heard from him in a hot minute, and I always love to hear from call him the historian because
Yes.
he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the NFL
Right.
and Raiders history.
Yes.
So let's check in with our good buddy, the historian. He is Houston Raiders Steve.
Murf Swag Jeff, Nation, Houston Raiders Steve, made man, made woman. Hey, Bob Brown passed away last week. Just want to say that he was out of Cleveland, Ohio, man. He was on the offensive line. Get this. You got Art Shell, Gene Upshaw, Ron Mix, Jim Otto, and, of course, Bob Brown. Man, what a great line. As you know, you win and lose games with your offensive and defensive lines. You win those battles, you win the game in the trenches. I know I played offensive left tackle in high school. Didn't play pro, but I played that, so I know how it is. But anyway, Bob Brown, let me see. He, playing against the Steelers, he was really intimidating. He went up against, they were playing the Steelers one game, and Joe Green kept hearing LC Greenwood. He always wore gold shoes and everything. That's how you know there was LC. Was moaning and groaning the whole game, and he walked over to him and he says, "Here, let me change spots with you, LC." So he lined up on Bob Brown. He says, "Oh, you can see the white of his eyes." He says, "That man was intimidating, man. He was like, what, 6'4", but man, that guy was a force, to say the least." Anyway, so he plays one play against him. He said he's looking through the ear hole. He's laying on the ground, his shoes off, and he looked over at LC Greenwood and said, "That's it, I'm done. You can have him the rest of the game." That's how intimidating Bob Brown was. He just dominated people, man. And we had a great offensive line those years. He played for the Raiders 71, 73. He played for the Eagles 3 years, I believe, 3 or 4 years, and then he played for the Rams. And then Al Davis saw him and said, "Hey, we need to get this guy on the team." Got to thank Ron Wolf. He was got a lot of people. You know, you hear about Bill Nunn, but Ron Wolf went over and got a lot of really great players from the smaller black colleges, Maryland Eastern Shore, Gerald Irons and Shell, Upshaw from Texas A&I. All I can say is the Raiders are back, baby. Goodbye.
All right, there he is, Houston Raiders, Steve.
Right on.
Good job, Houston Raiders, Steve.
Well, yeah.
All right, so we appreciate you, Raider Nation. Appreciate you jumping in to the dining room.
That's it.
And one of these days, I'm going to sell this house. And we're going to start building the Fan Cave 2.0. We're dangerously close. I'm going to hope we're going to manifest that and say that the new Raider Fan Cave 2.0 should be fully operational by the beginning of the season.
I would say so.
I would say so. We're still on track for that.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll be there and we can get out of the dining room. But we'll be back in the dining room next week.
We will.
We're going to leave this thing sitting right here because we want to come back to you live because, again, we're in the middle of our fundraising efforts. We want to get this thing kicked up as much as we possibly can so we can hit that $15,000 goal for the Blitnikoffs. Thank you to all of those of you that have jumped in the chat room tonight. We love you guys so very, very much, and thank you for all you do to support not only Raiders Fan Radio, but you support the One Nation Foundation. And all we ask in return is that please do us a favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It's hit and return. I don't know. That came out funky. Anyways.
Tell your people about this.
Tell my people. You tell our people.
Well, no. And you tell your people about our show. If you can't contribute monetarily, anything like that for the foundation.
That's where I was going.
Just holler at your rich friend.
Yeah, because I know not everybody can contribute monetarily.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And we just ask that if you can't, just hit a like, that's what I was trying to say. Hit a like, hit a subscribe, tell your friends, all that good stuff. All that stuff helps us because it helps us get advertisers like Caesars.
Yes.
Like so many of the good advertisers we've had over the years. And that helps the cause because all that money goes to the foundation. So thank you for all of those of you that support this show. We love you guys so very, very much. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, thanks to everyone in the chat. If you became a member of the Raiders Fan Radio channel tonight, respect to you for that. And make sure you hit us up and let us know that you did that. And I'll maybe we'll throw you a poker chip or something like that for the next giveaway, which will be the Tim Brown signed jersey. So Wednesday, that is June 28th. Get in the mix. Every $10 donation will get you one entry to win that Tim Brown jersey. So thanks, everyone. On behalf of Murf, I'm Swag Jeff. Thanks for tuning in to an episode of Raiders Fan Radio, the Rundown Edition, where we take a lighter side journey into the dark side. And don't forget, boys and girls, what happens in Vegas started in Oakland. We love you guys. Much respect.
Good night, YouTube.
Goodbye.
Adios, malingerers.
Well, yeah.